Hi guys, in this video we're looking at exam technique and how specifically we use command words to help us answer questions for AQA GCSE Science exams. I have picked out some of the most common exam command words which we're going to look at in this video. The first one I'm going to look at is compare. Now, this requires you to describe the similarities and or differences between things and not just write about one. So in this question, they've given you a graph and it says exercise can improve health. A student measured her breathing rate when at rest, when walking, and when jogging, and this shows her results. Compare the breathing rates when doing 3 different activities. So we have to look at each of them in turn and compare them. Whenever you have a graph, it's always a good idea to get a ruler and so you can accurately pinpoint the numbers. Okay. Same thing with this and with this. Okay, so obviously I'm not using a ruler here, being very naughty, but I'm trying to get a view of this. So you might say something like breathing rate when walking is twice that at rest. Okay, you can see that. Breathing rate when jogging is 5 times that at rest. Okay. And breathing rate when jogging is 2.5 times that when walking. So I've compared all 3 there for 3 marks. Now, continuing with this question, we go on to an explain command word. So when you are faced with an explain, what you have to do is you should make something clear or state the reasons for something happening. So the question says, explain why the breathing rate changes when doing different activities. You have to give reasons why. Now, you could say to supply more oxygen. You could say for aerobic respiration. So we need oxygen for aerobic respiration. And also, so the reason for that is to release more energy. So can you see? I've taken you on that journey, okay? And we are explaining why we see these differences in the breathing rates. The next command word we're going to look at is describe. Now, describe means say what you see, so recalling facts and processes in an accurate way. So the question says, the heart is a double pump. Describe what this means to you and use figure 2 to help you. So it's giving you a figure there, which is great. So you might say, well, the right-hand side of the heart pumps blood to the lungs. So the right-hand side pumping blood to the lungs. Oops. And the left-hand side pumping blood to the rest of the body. So I'm just saying what I'm seeing literally. And those are your 2 marks. Okay, the next command word is suggest. Now, whenever you see this, students often get confused. It is just basically using and applying your knowledge to a particular situation. So it's kind of like giving a well-informed guess, really. So people are encouraged to exercise after recovering from a heart attack. Suggest one reason why. So it could be that exercising strengthens the heart muscle, it could improve circulation, or reduces the chances of another heart attack. So this is something you could say. Okay, this one isn't so much a command word, but it kind of is. It says, what mass of the group 2 metal carbonate is heated? Now you have to read the whole thing, obviously. So it's giving you a graph and it says figure 2 shows the volume of gas produced when group 2 metal carbonate is heated. The student collected 5.2 decimeters cubed of gas. What mass of group 2 metal carbonate is heated? And here you definitely need to use a ruler, be precise and look at your graph and basically you're reading off the graph for this one. Okay, so with this you want to go up to the volume of gas that they said, so 5.2. Now I don't have my ruler, but I'm going to approximate, and I want you not to do this in the exam. I want you to use a ruler. Okay, so approximating around there. Go all the way to the line and then read down. Really wonky line there, but anyways. So if I was doing this properly, I would see that the actual answer was around 32 grams. Okay, So you're just reading it off the graph and you're stating your answer. Okay, so the next command word is calculate. And whenever you see a calculate, you need to use figures, either obtained from a previous question that you've worked out or directly from a graph or table. In this case, it wants you to use the number you worked out from the previous question, which was 32 grams. So calculate the mass of group 2 carbonate needed to produce 24 decimeters cubed of gas. So in our last question, we saw that 5.2 decimeters cubed of gas needed 32 grams. So to work out what it would be for 24 decimeters cubed, we need to put that into a formula. So you could write 32, which was the number you worked out in the last question, in grams, divided by 5.2. Then you times that by 24. And the answer you should get is 148 grams. Okay, so I'm just using the numbers I had available to me. The next command word is identify. Now, identify just basically means name or categorize. So in this question, it's asking you to identify 2 mistakes that the student makes. So you've got to look at the graph, look at your data and say, okay, what is going on here? You see the correct formula at the bottom that they should have used to work out the gradient. And you can see, first of all, the first mistake is this one here. Oops. Now, with this one, you can see that it's not 5 minus 1 equals 4 because it actually starts at 1 and ends at 4. So it's not 4 grams difference there, it's actually 3 grams difference there. And the second mistake they make is to put the numbers the wrong way around in the formula. Okay, so it should be 750 divided by 4 and not 4 divided by 750. So that was the second mistake. And all you've got to do is write those 2 mistakes down. The next command word is evaluate, and students often lose marks for this question because they don't actually do what the question's asking you. So evaluate means you should use information supplied to you as well as your own knowledge and understanding to consider evidence for and against and come to a final judgment. So you need to make a judgment on something. And it could be pros and cons, but you're comparing them. Now, let's have a look. So the table below shows information about 3 methods of contraception: the condom, the oral contraceptive, and the hormone skin patch. And it gives you percentage effectiveness, how the contraception is obtained, and possible side effects. And it says evaluate the use of these contraceptive methods. So you might say something like, well, the condom's effectiveness is 98, which is lower than the oral contraceptive of 99.7. The oral contraceptive is actually still even lower than the hormonal patch of 99.8. However, all 3 are highly effective. The condom is actually easier to obtain because you can get it easily from the sexual health clinic or from just shops. Whereas with the oral contraceptive and the hormone skin patch, you need to go to the doctor to get it prescribed to you. Possible side effects, well, the condom has no side effects compared to the others. So that might be something to consider. So overall, you might then say, well, the condom also prevents you from getting STIs, which is not mentioned here. So remember, we have to use our own knowledge and understanding as well. And, it is still highly effective. You can easily get it and there's no side effects. So overall, I think the condom is the best form of contraception. Okay, so you have evaluated that evidence, you've given some of your own knowledge, and you've come to a final judgment. That's how you do evaluate. The final command word that I'm going to look at today is plan. Now, write a method. That's what plan means. And often students get caught up with this. Oh my goodness, like we need to put all the equipment down, we need to do all of this, we need to say exactly what we're doing at each stage. No, you don't get marks for saying, I'm going to collect the equipment, or, these are the equipments we need, and you listing all of them in a list before you talk about the method. You don't get marks for that, okay, necessarily. So as long as you've included a plan that will give you a valid outcome and all the key steps are identified and logically sequenced, then you're going to get full marks for this kind of question. So in this case, a student wanted to determine the density of irregular shaped object, as shown in figure 1. Plan an experiment that would allow the student to determine the density of the object. So in order to get full marks, you will probably need to say something along the lines of, well, firstly, you will have to measure the mass using a balance. So I'm given the equipment here within my step, so I don't have to list it separately. Then you will part fill a cylinder with water, measure the initial volume of the water, place your object within the cylinder, and then measure a final volume and record the difference. So the volume of the object would be the final volume minus the initial volume. Then what you do is you plug those two numbers into the density formula, which is density equals mass divided by volume, and this will give you the density. Okay, I really hope that was useful for you. Thank you for watching.